I have made multiple videos at this point using this bottle in some way to make weird little sounds, because what can I say? It's just, it has a variety of fun little sounds it can make. So I thought I'd actually just, make a sample pack already. Hi guys, Summer, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to the chaos. I do all things music related on this channel, from putting up covers and show reels to show people what I'm like as a performing artist in case they want to book me, to my favourite style of content, all things production, songwriting, and audio engineering based. Today's video is just a bit of fun. It does kind of have a little bit of a purpose to it. I like using weird sounds in my songs, and especially now that I am moving to producing my own music entirely by myself, I get to be a bit more experimental and weird with some of the stuff I try out because I'm not paying for studio time anymore, so I don't have to worry about the cost of if I screw around and this turns out terrible, that's a lot of money I just flushed down the toilet. Whereas when you're just experimenting in your own little home studio space, you can experiment with pretty much whatever you want. So today's video is kind of in honor of that. Today's video is just me experimenting with something silly that I just want to see what I can get out of it. Sampling is something that people talk about a lot in terms of its use in modern music, and people can mean a couple of different things when they're talking about sampling, because when people talk about sampling in modern music, one of the things they're talking about most often is when somebody takes something from a song that is already out there and uses it in their new song as a part of the instrumentation. So people might sample the drum part of a track, they might sample a vocal they'll then use as like a refrain or as a cool instrumental piece within their beat. This is what people think of a lot, but then also there's the part of sampling where something doesn't necessarily have to have been previously released or previously used in a song for you to sample it. People will talk a lot about Splice, which is basically a subscription service, kind of like how you subscribe to something like Spotify or Netflix to get your music and your TV. Music producers will subscribe to Splice to get sample packs. These sample packs can consist of two different types of samples: loops and one-shots. One-shots are just single individual notes or beats or random sounds. So something like that being sampled would be a one-shot. Similarly, someone sampling a particular piano or keyboard, playing one note of that keyboard and recording that, that's your one-shot. But that's what sampling is at its heart. It's just recording random sounds to use in your track. On to the point of this video, because the point of this video isn't just to rant about sampling, it's that I've decided that I want to have a go at making a little sample pack. Not so I can like sell it or anything, because I'm not a big like sound design kind of person. This is mostly for fun, for practice, and because I wanted to try and just create a little pack of samples for me to use of these two bottles that I have featured in previous videos. This one's featured in quite a few videos because they can make some quite cool sounds, and I want to see what I can then do with those recordings to make some even cooler sounds that I then have as stock things to go to when I'm sitting and working on a song and being like, I want something weird here. What have I got? Because I could just search Splice for weird, but it turns out when you search weird in Splice, you don't necessarily get exactly what you're looking for. And sometimes the best way to make a song unique and create that perfect little sound that you're looking for is just literally to sample something weird and mess around with it on the computer until it sounds funny. So I've already done the recording bit of this video, as you can see. I've got some recordings here of various sounds. I did that before now because I did not want to be trying to record samples with this light on. This microphone definitely picks that up when I have it, you know, when I'm just talking, I don't have to have it quite as high. But when I'm trying to do something like sample a tiny noise like that, I need it a bit higher up, which means it then gets things like the light sounds or any little rumbles around the house. And if I record in my little makeshift vocal booth, then I don't have to worry about that. For one thing, that light isn't on, and that vocal booth does actually do a decent job of blocking out a lot of other sounds in the house, which is great. I also wanted to record through my mic preamp, and obviously I used my usual little SE4400s, my main condenser microphones that I have that I use for pretty much everything. I do maybe want to try out using one of my dynamics at some point, maybe to try doing some, because I was doing a few hit sounds that might actually be better recorded through a dynamic microphone, but I didn't want to mess around setting up a separate microphone to do a bunch of other samples. That would be an experiment maybe for the future. So step one to creating a bunch of samples is to do the recordings themselves. That is complete. On to step two. We sort through these, we find the ones that we think have potential, we put them onto their own little track so they can be edited in their own way, and we cut off all of the excess and stuff, you know, like the sound of me breathing at the start or the end of something, or my clothes rustling, or whatever it is. Let's go sample hunting, shall we? Which ones do we like? I think, if I remember correctly, I did a better job around here of these. Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? I'm just gonna get you. I just need a bunch of audio. I'm just gonna duplicate that for now. Sample 1, we'll call you. Flask hit. I'm gonna trim these down as well, so we don't need all of this at the start. We just need the bit where the flask actually gets hit. I'm trimming these down now because when I start to put plugins and stuff on them, I don't want the plugins treating stuff in the audio that isn't going to be in the final audio. You know, there could be little sounds in there that I can't hear very clearly now, but once I put some compression on that or some reverb on it, it might start picking up on those sounds, and all of a sudden I've got a bunch of other stuff going on in my reverb that isn't the main thing I actually wanted in my sample. There we go, that one's actually trimmed down pretty well. Okay, let's have a look, see at what else we've got in these flask hits. Because I hit the flask in a few different paces. So this is this flask, and this is me hitting it with the lid a few times in different spots. Gives a variety of different sounds. That one's a bit flatter sounding, isn't it? We'll have that one. Well, that was a nice one. That one was nicer, though. I think that's the bottom there, isn't it? I want you. Redid all the ones at the end here on here because they were too quiet in my first run. Oh my god. That one's a good one. Now we've got the blue bottle. And the main sound I really like off the blue bottle is that one. Ooh, that one's really good. Cool. Okay, I have all my samples and they're all nice and cleaned up. On to the third stage. The third stage of the experiment is to add effects to each of these little samples that we have now created. We can create a multitude of different sounds with each one of these individual samples. I'm going to show you me at least experimenting on one of these samples in this video and everything I come up with, but I will add in to my extras video from my Buy Me a Coffee members any other fun ones that I don't have time to include in this video. But the one that we'll do with all of them is that we will do just a true to form, this is what this sound sounds like if you just record it kind of version of the sample. So let's start around my ringing out ones. So you can hear that hit right at the start is quite a bit louder than everything else. So we want to bring that hit down just a little bit with a little bit of compression. Shall we see what it sounds like with an LA2A on it? So you can hear by bringing down that initial hit, we get that ringing out more. Now there is a bit of a very high one that's poking out a bit too much. Where are you? I'm also going to throw a high pass on it just because there's probably some noise in the room in there. So you can see I've brought it up quite high, but I'm slowly bringing it back because I'm losing. I mean, it might be quite nice to have one where I take all of that out. But for now, we want to keep it more true, so I don't want to lose as much of this low. Now I think the only other thing this wants, and I'm just going to put this on a bus so we don't end up with too much of it, is a touch of reverb. Let's go with my favourite stock Logic reverb, Space Designer. Now I just want this to be not too big. Oh, strings room. Yeah. Dialing that in now. Nice! I think that sounds good, don't you? It's the first one. Not bad. I'm going to duplicate this whole track like so. And continuing having a play with this one. So, now I want to do something weird and interesting with it. Be nice to introduce a wobble to it, wouldn't it? So I'm going to try some sidechain compression on it. So I need a new software instrument track just with a generic drum on it. Oh, we've got a couple up here that I can just throw on. Right, I'm just going to use the kick here and just try and do it where I want it roughly. I have no idea how well this is going to work. Right, mute that. I'm going to put a compressor on here. I'm going to whack it all the way up. Sidechain to... it is called Classic E-Piano, that, isn't it? I didn't rename the track. I really should have done that first. Okay, it's maybe going a bit much. It's going a bit hard, that, isn't it? Hey! I am just going to boost the volume on it a little bit by boosting this makeup gain. Okay, that one sounds cool. Okay, for this next experiment, I want to get rid of my sidechain. And I want to try throwing a much bigger reverb on it. So I'm going to add another reverb. Where am I looking? Native Instruments. Realm. Ooh, that already is quite a nice one, isn't it? Even bigger. That one's quite a nice one, isn't it? Cool. I think that one could sound quite cool sidechained as well, couldn't it? So, let's try putting this sidechain compression on here. Isn't that cool? We need one more. Need one more about here. That sounds really cool, doesn't it? We can make this sound even weirder though. We can go even more extreme than this. Turn you off of that bus altogether. I'm gonna put Realm. I'm gonna copy you over onto this track. Nice. I'm gonna bring this down even more. Yeah. I like that one too. Okay, let's do another one. I'm just going to keep going until I get bored, basically. So we're going to bounce the track, because we're going to do the reverse trick next. When we reverse this, it's going to be a really long lead-in. Oh, that is the king of swells. That is a beautiful swell. Okay, I'm going to do the other one as well. What do I need? I need one of you. I can just use this track again. Unmute that. Turn off that. No, there's no point doing that because I've got the compression rate, so I'm going to print it first. Even just reversed, that's cool. Okay, so we're saving that. Duplicate this. Right, now that you're reversed and sounding cool, grab some reverbs to put on you. Should I go with that round one again or a different one? Let's try the round one, but let's put some different settings on it this time. Oh, those settings do sound cool on it though, don't they? I'm going to print this one as well. Right, let's try some different settings now. Let's try the cosmic one. Oh, I don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't it. And then unmute the thing once it's bounced, because I want to keep it just as is as well. Now we reverse you back. What do we get? Ooh. That wasn't as cool and fun as I was hoping. There are so many. I've created so many, guys. I'm going to have to come up with names for these in a second as well, because that's the final step. But we'll get back to that. Right, I really want to try putting on some more extreme EQ. So I'm going to pop on another EQ and just completely telephone you. Nice. Okay, one last thing I want to do. I do want to pitch shift it. So on with a pitch shifter. Oh, I forgot with this pitch shifter you can put in a certain amount in the mix so you can have just a complementary sound to it. And that makes it sound like a cute little bell, doesn't it? We'll keep that one. I like that one. You're seeing the pattern here of just mess around, create something, see if you like it or not, create a new track, do it again. Let's put it 100% mix though. It sounds weird like that. What does it sound pitched down? Pitched down sounds cool! So now actually, this might like a bit of distortion on it. Let's see. I'm gonna go with the basic Logic Overdrive one. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop there with this particular sample. But how many have I created just from that one sound? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 12. 12 different possible little sample sounds to use and stuff from one initial recording. There's a lot of potential there. The final step, once you've done a bunch of weird effects all over your little sample, is to then obviously bounce these out as individual audio files. In order to do that, we have to take them one at a time and we have to solo them so there's nothing else affecting them. And ideally, we want them starting close to the start. So I'm going to move them all back to the start. So we've not got a massive thing at the start of our audio file we don't need. We also don't want it to bounce the entire track for all of them. So that one only really needs to be about 2 bars long. Not even that to get all the information in. A little bit longer just to make sure we've definitely got our reverb tail in there. That's the bit we're bouncing. So now we just do that. Bounce, project or section. Cool. All of that's correct. New folder. Bottle samples. We need to name this one something. Flask, hit, ring, simple. That describes it, I think. Bounce it. Boom. You would now have to do that with each individual sample. I'm not going to show you guys me doing that with each of the 12 that we've just created now. And obviously then, if you wanted to take this one step further, you could even then, you know, put this sample pack together and try and sell it online to places. I'm not sure how people get their samples on things like Splice. There's probably some sort of way that people get signed up as a creator on there. I'm not sure of the process because it's not something I have looked into myself yet. I know there are other websites that I have been told about where you can sell sample packs pretty easily, and obviously you could just sell sample packs through your own website or something like that as well, easily enough. I'd love to hear about any other weird samples people have used in their own music before. Like, what's the strangest thing you've ever just thrown on a track just for the sake of it? I think the strangest one I've actually got on a track out there somewhere is me just going... That's on Baby Steps. If you go and listen to Baby Steps, then you will hear a little sound, and that is just me doing that into the microphone, which was quite fun to do. But I'm going to go away and do that with each of these, and I will record some of the interesting ones I come up with and put up a little extras video for my Buy Me a Coffee people. I might share a few of the cool ones that I come up with on here as little shorts on this YouTube channel as well, and on my various socials. So if you want to see that, then you should definitely follow all my social media, which is linked in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content from me of any kind, then obviously you can hit that subscribe button. I know that's a big decision, so you might want to check out some of the other content I make on this channel as well. Okay, that is all for this week's video, guys, and I will see you again next week with another fun music related video.